Brightside Nation! What's good? It's Mike Hanley here with BrightsideNews.com. It is July 1st, just checking in. Had a long day of work, and I've been missing you guys. It's been a minute since I've been able to put something out, but I wanted to touch on the Donald Trump North Dakota rally that was held in Fargo, North Dakota. And the rally was in particularly held for Kevin Cramer, who is running for Senate in out of Fargo. So this is something that Trump was really stressing. He was stressing that we need to make sure that we are getting more Senate seats because right now we have a majority in the House and we barely have a majority in the Senate. I think we have something like 51 seats, and the Democrats have 49. So that is a majority by just a little bit. And it was imperative, Trump was saying, that we made sure that we continue to push forward and um, promote Make America Great Again politicians that are on board with Trump and his agenda so that we can continue to move forward with the policies that the Trump administration has put forward. And right now we are struggling in the Senate. So Trump is really stressing the importance of getting these elected officials in the Senate. So that was definitely one of the main points of the rally. This was something where it was definitely high energy. Now I don't know if it was quite as high energy as the Duluth, Minnesota rally, because that, my friends, was something else. But I mean, it was something else. It was something else. The arena was fully packed. I think they had about 8,000 people in there. They said maybe another 10 to 12 outside. They were considering doing a 24,000 seat rally, and Trump was calling out the fake news, saying, "Hey, if I put this, if we do this in a 24,000 seat arena and we have a few open seats, they'll call it out, saying, hey, Trump can't fill the arena. Oh my gosh, he doesn't have a good following anymore." So he, he aims, he shoots at a lower venue and makes sure that that it is completely filled up. And of course, he was given the finger, not the finger, but the finger saying, "Hey, look at the fake news. They're in the back. I wish they would span out and see all the people in the crowd, check out the whole crowd, everybody that's up in the rafters." He said, but of course they won't do that. They just want to keep it on my face, as Trump always says. Yeah, of course, Trump. He says he has a beautiful face, but I mean, if we're being real with ourselves, hey, come on, Don. You're great, but come on. So, anyways, it was definitely a high energy rally. Again, it was Kevin Cramer who was running for the Senate. Trump was calling out Heidi Heitkamp, who he claimed voted along the Democratic line and basically voted with Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, all of these people who are now the face of the Democratic Party. I mean, can you imagine? Could you ever, in your most wildest dreams, imagine that Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, and crying Chuck Schumer, these are the people that are leading the Democratic Party? Now, I was never a Democrat, never really believed in the ideology for the most part. Also, the divisive politics, where they try to group people into, okay, you're white, you're a white male, this is who you are. I mean, it's just such nonsense. Oh, if you're African American, you have to vote this way, and if you're African American, these are the issues that you're dealing with. And if you vote or you go outside of what the Democrats think that you should be if you're an African American, then they berate you and call you bad names. And I mean, it's divisive politics put on by the left to scare people really. And they sit here and they point the finger at Trump. Now this is projection. This is accusing your competitor, the Democrats here, um, trying to say that Donald Trump is the one that is vulgar, or he is the one that is doing deals with Russia behind the scenes, collusion with Russia. The whole idea is that the Democratic Party accuses Republicans or anybody who disagrees with them of the very things that they are guilty of. So if the Democratic Party or somebody in that's leading the Democratic Party accuses Trump or the Republicans or the GOP or Trump voters or the Trump administration of doing some type of wrongdoing, it's most likely they themselves that are guilty of that exact thing. I mean, it is baffling to me that more people haven't caught on to this. Oh, Trump with Russia, Trump with Russia. Oh, Hillary, fusing GPS, Secretary of State. I mean, need I say more? So, anyways, I want to get back to the rally, but I had to throw that in there. I had to. I mean, we're woke. We know what's going on, people. Let's get it together. Sometimes we got to punch. We got to punch back hard. We got to be real. We got to get straight to the point. No him and her han or bullshitting around. We got to get to it, so to speak. So, anyways, Trump was saying that Heidi Heitkamp is going to vote along Democratic lines, and that she voted against the repeal and replace of Obamacare. Now think also, not just with Heidi Heitkamp, but she voted against that. She voted against the tax cuts. She'll vote against a new immigration bill that will be set forth after November, because Trump isn't going to put forth an immigration bill before November. And the reason being is that if he does, first, he'll be showing his cards, and two, it won't get passed. And he knows that. So why show the cards? Why go down this path? Why go through all the media hysteria? He's keeping it close to the vest. He's keeping his friends close, but his enemies closer in this sense. And he's not going to put any information out there until he knows that he can pass an immigration bill. And then if he can't, if we don't get the majority in the Senate and we don't keep it in the House, pardon me, then I'm not sure what he's going to do, but he's going to have to do some type of negotiating here. But it's this idea that Heidi Heitkamp out of Minnesota has voted along the Democrat lines, and he is pushing Kevin Cramer here. There are a lot of new healthcare plans that the Trump administration is beginning to offer. Oh, and let me go back to John McCain with this repeal and replace. Do you remember when he was running for president? I believe it was in 2008, or maybe I think it was 2008. I'm not exactly sure what year it was, pardon me. But he ran on repeal and replace. Repeal and replace. Do you remember him and Sarah Palin? Repeal and replace, repeal and replace. And these goons, he has the opportunity and then he votes it down. John McCain is a deep state swamp creature. He lives below the surface, my friends. I mean, that guy is a sick man. Remember when Trump, during the presidential election, said that he prefers people who don't get caught as POWs? And this is the idea of what Trump does. And now I'm not saying I would go about it the same way, but for some reason it works with him. When Trump went after him, it's because he knew something that everybody else did not know. A lot of people, including myself, didn't know how bad McCain was. I mean, the guy is a complete liar. So thank God he didn't win presidency, because we thought, Obama was bad. I don't think McCain would have been as bad for America, but McCain is not a good dude. He claims to be. He claims to have been, but it's all a bunch of BS and hogwash. So that's why Trump calls these people out, because he knows something is going on. He knows something that we don't know. And that's why it's important to keep tabs on not just what he says, how he says it, and then who he says it about. And we need to have a very discerning eye, because now, whenever I'm told something by the media or I read something online, I always wonder, especially with suicides and people getting killed, or there was a lady who was running for Congress, and she was hit in a head-on collision, and her one person died in the crash, another person I think just survived and has some lifelong injuries, and then the lady who was running for Congress somehow, after a few surgeries, is going to come out and come back 110%, which is a blessing. But why? Right before November is coming, right before these things are happening, why are we seeing somebody who's running for Congress get hit in a head-on collision and almost die? One person dying, her friend almost dying, just surviving, and then her, who was most likely the target. And I don't believe that this happens by mistake, people. I believe, I mean, it's a head-on collision. It doesn't happen very often. I mean, with as as much as people drive around, think about it. Now, it could have been completely by chance, but I don't I don't see it with Anthony Bourdain's suicide. I don't see it. I don't think he would kill himself. Seth Rich, who killed Seth Rich? Why did they kill Seth Rich? How did he get the information? He was a DNC staffer. He gave the information to WikiLeaks. The DNC found out and they had him killed. So there's always a reason for why these things happen, and always have a discerning eye. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. And also, when people talk about a conspiracy is something that is put together that is done with the intention of wrongdoings. So there can be a conspiracy to do something. And there's a bunch of conspiracies within our government to do things that are against the law. And that's why this is so important. People don't realize that conspiracies happen all the time. And just because you put the word theory behind it doesn't mean that it's false. A conspiracy theory can very well be accurate and true. Now, I'm not saying all conspiracy theories are accurate, but there are very many conspiracies that go on that are indeed happening, that are against the law in our country, done by the FBI, the CIA, and Democrats, and some Republicans that are involved in it. But now Trump, he's turning it around. He's going to make it greater, perhaps, than it's ever been. We're building the wall. The economy is coming back great. We've got healthcare. I've got some notes here. We've got new healthcare plans. We have choice for veterans. We have the association plan, which is going to be a little bit like, essentially like how we have a credit union, but it's going to be, I believe, for healthcare, where people can join programs or small companies can join together as essentially like a buying group to have greater buying power and put these costs down a little bit, because they're going to be buying in such a quantity with as many employees as they have. Going back to Heidi Heitkamp, voted against tax cuts, voted against the travel ban. SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States of America, upheld the travel ban. And that, by the way, includes the country of Venezuela, that is being run by a socialist dictator. So it's not a Muslim ban, people. It's not a Muslim ban. Venezuela is not a Muslim nation, and they are in the travel ban. Yeah, I know. Supreme Court, and I'm going to get into this. I'm going to do another video after this. I'm trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter. So Trump calls out the media. He was saying if crooked Hillary won, there might have been 200 people, and they would have had to hold it in a conference room in a hotel, because she couldn't fill an arena, especially in North Dakota. Um, what do we got? Judge Anthony Kennedy will retire, and this is what I'm going to put together for the SCOTUS video, Supreme Court of the United States. I'm going to touch a little bit on Scalia and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, this lady, she fell asleep during the State of the Union address. I mean, can you believe it? These are the people. These are the people that are leading our country. And you know the law about the Supreme Court is it's lifetime appointees. I personally think that's a disaster. No more lifetime appointees for the Supreme Court. People live much longer than they ever did nowadays than they did when that law was written. And I don't know what year, but it wasn't anytime recent. I mean, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, are you kidding me? This lady, I don't even know if she's going to be there mentally for much longer. If she's going to be around for the rest of this term, if Trump wins in 2020, which I think he will, and then hopefully Pence or someone else from the Republican Party runs again, there's no way she'll last. And I'm not hoping that she dies, but I don't think she'll live for another, you got another 6 years, another 8, another 14 or 15 years. I don't think she can sit on the seat of the Supreme Court. That's why the Supreme Court was such a big part of this election. And Trump stressed it. Not only was it a part of this election was about the Supreme Court, but it was also about putting in a candidate for the people, a businessman, rather than having somebody who is in just, lying in their pockets. We had to have somebody come in to tear down the establishment, to turn it around, to give it back to the people. And that's what Trump's doing. What else do we have here? We have a lot of build that wall chants. We have a lot of USA chants. We talk about US Steel out of Georgetown, South Carolina. They're opening up a new plant. We put 25% tariffs on steel imports. That's why we're seeing growth in the steel industry. And those tariffs are going into the Treasury, and then we're seeing local American companies, both private and publicly held, begin to manufacture product on American soil. This is not only good for construction, it's good for jobs, it's good for the military because we can source steel here in the United States rather than if we had to go to war, God forbid, something happens. These are all the things that we talk about. The Heritage Foundation the Trump administration has implemented 64% of high priority policies that they put forth. So before 2 years, they've already gotten to 64% of the high priority policies. So he's almost 70%. He's greater than a third, well, not a third of the way, but he's almost a third of the way within a year and a half. So once he knocks that out, he's hitting the ground running. We've gained $7 trillion in wealth, the United States, since Trump got elected. We have the barriers with the European Union. We have trade barriers that are put into place. We have a $151 deficit with the EU. We have a $100 billion deficit with Mexico. So these are the things that are so important. We've created 3.4 million new jobs since Trump got elected. Unemployment claims are at a 45-year low. Black and Hispanic unemployment, I've said it and I'll say it again, the lowest it's ever been. Mind you, when this is all happening. So the African American and the Hispanic unemployment, the lowest it's ever been. Trump's approval ratings have gone up 10% among the Hispanic community. Mind you, this is all happening with the immigration at the border. And Trump's message is once again getting through. It's cutting through the fake news media. He's calling it fake news. It is fucking fake. It's fake fucking news, my friends. It's fucking fake. And that message, people are hearing it. People are hearing what's going on. They know it's fake. They know that People are being smuggled into the border. They know drugs are coming across. There's human trafficking, there's sex trafficking. There's a lot of different things that are happening down at the border. We have ICE down there. We have ICE doing a job. We have Border Patrol doing a job. They're working to secure the borders. We have the Department of Homeland Security with Christian Nielsen. She's doing a job, and they're making America safe again. And people want the economy, they want safety, they want jobs, and they want to be able to support their families in a safe and loving community. And that is what Trump's allowing people to do. They might not like him, they might not like the way he's doing it, but that's what's going to happen. And that's what's happening. And you know what? TFB, if you don't like it, go pound sand. You know, go play in traffic. Either get on board the Trump train or get ran the hell over. All right, we're not messing around anymore. We're sick and tired of all the the nonsense from the left, the outrage of the things that they're saying, from Maxine Waters to the guy at Sony who was talking about Barron Trump get locked in a cage with a pedophile. I mean, these things are just disgusting. And if if a Republican or a Trump supporter said anything like this, could you imagine? Could you imagine? I mean, it would be a firestorm. The media would be just going, oh my gosh, these racists, these guys, they're pedophiles. I mean, and then the left comes out here, says all these things, and no one even bats an eye. And this is why it's selective outrage from the left, and it's fake news, and it's a bunch of nonsense, and people are starting to see it. So Trump's approval rating has gone up 10% with the Hispanic community. And this is during this immigration battle and all this going on at the border. He's building the wall. Meanwhile, the new president of Mexico calls for mass exodus of Mexicans into the United States. Now, I wouldn't say that is a very good way to renegotiate NAFTA. You're losing. Trump's winning already, and now you're just losing, and you continue to lose even worse and worse. I mean, it's brutal. Passed the VA Accountability Act, optimism up with American manufacturers up 95%. I used to talk about this. I worked for an American manufacturer of stainless steel sinks, drinking fountains, bottle filling stations, both commercial and residential, and I can guarantee you that company is going to be producing a hell of a lot more stainless steel sinks because China was dumping stainless steel sinks into the United States, and we couldn't compete. We couldn't compete, so we switched. Stainless steel was the bread and butter of this company since like the 1920s. They've been around almost 100 years on the south side of Chicago. A phenomenal company, great people, great company, even better people. And I have a note here. China, 25% tax on cars. If the U.S. manufactures a car, ships it into China, 25% tax on U.S. cars. If they ship a car into the U.S., taxes are 2.5%. That's what we charge them, 2.5%. So we talk about this trade war. Trump says there's no more trade war. The trade war has been over. We already lost the trade war. All we're asking for is fair and reciprocal trade. He said that the era of global freeloading is over. The globalist freeloading is over. We're turning around. We're bringing it back to the people. We're bringing it back to you. And this is Trump. And this is us. This is what we've all been fighting for. We've got $6 billion for opiate abuse. And Trump, and this doesn't have to do with opiate abuse, but Trump has implemented a sixth branch of the U.S. military called the Space Force. Now, how epic is this? Hey, guys, the Space Force, okay? The Space Force. You got it? Need I say more? I'm going to end on that note. This has been about 25 minutes. I'm trying to keep these videos a little shorter. The rally in Fargo, North Dakota was killer. I love seeing it. I love seeing the energy. Oh, we got Mike Lindell. He was on. I was going to show you guys. I'll show you a picture real quick of Mike Lindell before I cut out here. Okay. This is a picture. Here's Mike Lindell, right? And Mike Lindell is actually a recovering drug addict, believe it or not. Now he is also, here he is right here. You see My Pillow. He is the founder and CEO of My Pillow, and it says from addict to entrepreneur with Mike Lindell. He's the founder of My Pillow. So Mike Lindell was at the Fargo, North Dakota rally. He was he was given a shout out by Trump. Trump says he actually uses Mike Lindell's pillows. Now, whether or not he does, God only knows. But this is Mike Lindell. Seems like a good dude. Pillows are made in America. Now has a 300,000 square foot manufacturing facility. Over 40 million. He sold over 40 million pillows. I mean, this is insane. And it's a 70,000 square foot manufacturing plant. Excuse me, 75,000. I said 300,000. So I'm sorry, 70,000 square foot manufacturing plant. So it's big time, and that's actually located in Minnesota. So, anyways, I wanted to tell you that a little about Mike Lindell, recovering addict, now the owner of My Pillow, getting a shout out and getting a big cheer. So, anyways, it's great to see Mike Lindell making pillows in America. Doesn't get much better, but anyways, hey, we're making it great. We're turning it around, and in 2020, we got to keep America great. Looking forward to it, guys. We'll see you soon. I'll do another video, all right? Thank you. Mike Hanley, RightSideNews.com. Thank you, Right Side Nation, and don't be left. Be right.